Welcome back to Red, White, and Buffalo. Your hosts Adam and co-host Zilla talking back after a 2-week hiatus there. It was we meant to get another one in between, but hey, we're back. We're talking the Bills Dolphins.
It wasn't our fault. It was Thursday Night Football's
It
fault.
was definitely tough to get in
Yeah.
such a short time, but hey,
Hey.
we're here to talk after a very, very, very exciting Thursday night W.
Yep.
Buffalo once again coming out on top of the Dolphins, very convincingly.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody thought not, but once again we had to prove everyone wrong. The doubters are certainly suddenly turning into everyone's on the Super Bowl wagon suddenly.
All right.
And we don't want them anyway.
Okay, so as you were saying, then let's summarize that because I missed half of
Yeah,
it panicking trying to shut that
yeah.
off.
Sorry. So obviously everyone just heard it, but I was just saying. Obviously, week one, a lot of uncertainty going into the season. A rocky start to week one, right into week two, dominating a team that we were expected to lose to, and then or not lose to, but everyone was just saying it was just who
We,
knew
we
who
might
knew what was going to
struggle.
come of it.
Might struggle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
I
and
believe your
then
prediction was that we might lose that one because it was in Miami, or no?
I can't recall. We'd have to go back on that. I
Yeah.
said it would be on if I said we were going to win, but I said if we were to lose, that would be one of the games we might slip up in,
And I was
just
saying,
because
oh god.
at Miami.
Yeah, I was saying that I think with that game that we would take them, but I was worried about that second rematch, even if it's at home. Like
Right.
they always calibrate. So yeah, so you
Yeah.
mentioned Tua at the end though, right? So we
Yeah, and
dominated.
then obviously I was saying Tua coming out of that too. It's obviously very uncertain situation coming out of that for them. So who knows what's going to be happening for them
I,
too, and
I
it just makes this season very different and interesting.
yeah, I feel bad for Tua, and I think it was pretty good seeing Josh at the end. I don't know if you watched the interview on Thursday
Oh
Night
yeah,
Football.
great. He
Yeah,
said he's one of the
yeah.
best humans
That's
on earth or something
classy
like that.
guy, but I think he's honest
Yeah.
about it, and I think a lot of people say that about Tua. So it sucks. I mean, his career might be over, but even if it isn't, the Dolphins' season might be over really because
Yeah, no,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think
It,
yeah, we don't know what type of team we're gonna meet later, but I will
yeah.
say with this matchup that our defense stepped up. I'd like to talk about
Yeah.
that honestly. Like as much as I want to
Yeah.
talk about our offense because we're seeing an offense that we wanted to see so bad for like 3 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I mean this is finally an all-in-one offense. There's rushing, there's passing, there's multiple guys involved. There's really no true star. There's multiple guys playing well. Uh and I feel like
If
there's
I was to
multiple guys
describe
that
this
can score
sandwich
on any
in
given
one
play
word, I would
and
say
night. So
magical.
this
Yeah.
Hi,
offense
this is Jamor. And the
definitely
little thing
something
that
that
I
we
love
talked
about
about
the
in the
Chick-fil-A
start
honey
of the
pepper
season.
pimento chicken sandwich.
You can remember we talked about it. We said this season's going to go one of two ways. It's either going to go very rocky and we might be rough and we might need to find somebody, or it's going to be really, really good and we're going to be able to pass the ball around to a lot of people. And we for the most part, we're saying that we think it's going to be, you know, one of those where he can pass around to multiple players, and if anything, it's going to be better for Josh. And I think between these two games, it's already shown that like this offense is very good. It can't be stopped. Like
No,
they don't stop them.
I think that
Cardinals didn't really. They stopped them a little bit in the first quarter, and then they didn't stop them at all in the second half in the Cardinals game. And then, uh, what was it? The Dolphins just, gosh, they just ran through them to the point where they just sat everybody in the fourth quarter.
yeah. I think the low numbers from Josh Allen proves that too because like he typically
13 to 19 for
yeah
what, 173,
139
yeah, 139 even lower. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, and one touchdown. So like, but I mean, it goes to
And the
show,
rushing.
yeah. So it goes to show, that like, he doesn't have to do as much as he used to. I mean, which is kind of, I guess, disappointing in the MVP conversation if it continues. But not every game is going to be like this. I think it went our way. I do think that our defense. I just want to talk about the defense being
Yeah,
amazing.
for sure.
I was uncertain about that because we had Milano out, then Bernard went out. And I was like, God, not again. Oh, that team stepped up in multiple layers. I do want to point out we still struggle with the run game because Achan had a game still.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
he still did.
HN dominated us, but I mean, it was kind of one of those things. It's like he was doing good, but it was a lot of garbage yards, so it
Yeah.
wasn't like it hurt us. But I feel like if anything, that's our weakest point on our defense is our rush game. Dominant pass rush.
Yeah. We shut
Rousseau
down
was
Hill
off
and
the team.
Waddle shut down
Yeah,
that
and
game.
our freaking cornerbacks. It's because there's multiple cornerbacks that are
Yeah.
playing well. And I think one of the most underrated, he's starting to get a little bit of, recognition, but is Bedford.
Bedford. This
Bedford is
game. That's
solid
his
as
game.
hell.
Yeah. We said that last
Solid
year
as
too, I
hell.
think too, right? That he just was on the trajectory to be good, great.
Yeah, he's just
Yeah.
on a trajectory to be just a solid player,
Mhm.
just to be a really good player. So like he keeps developing. We've got obviously what's his name for on the other side? What's his name? Rasul
Russo?
Douglas.
Oh, Russo
Yeah,
Douglas, yeah, for quarterback,
no,
yeah.
Douglas.
Mhm.
So and then Douglas too on the other side, he's older, but it's kind of nice because he's a veteran. And I don't know. I haven't heard much with Elam, but I think he's still developing. He's still
Mhm.
young, and who knows if he stays behind Douglas long enough, he might end up being really good. So we have a couple good guys coming out of this in a couple of years
When we
again.
can't afford
So
Douglas, maybe slide him in, so
right,
mhm.
right.
Uh
And our safeties too. Hamlin's been playing well.
yeah, Hamlin
Rapp,
surprisingly, yeah.
Rapp's been all over the field. That man, people like get annoyed with him because he literally is like on every play. I swear, he's in every play. Taylor Rapp is honestly just one of those people that is just a ball hawk that is always, always, always walk like around the ball. So
D
it's
line
been
still
really
looks
good to
stout.
see.
D line
Like
still
you,
looks good.
like you said too, it's just been like such a surprise,
Yeah.
such a surprise.
I
Uh,
it's
and
interesting because both of us still kind of had high hopes, and like part of that's because we're Bills fans. But on the other hand, like we both also said, like we know that there's key pieces that are missing
yeah,
this year, but like we didn't doubt that. But like I think we both kind of thought we both were like thinking that the defense would still be pretty good, so it was actually really
yeah.
good.
Well,
Yeah,
what got me uncertain was obviously the injury to Johnson right away.
and against the Cardinals week 1, I was like,
Yeah, and the Cardinals, I was like,
mm,
"Ooh, that looks rough." But and
yeah,
then the injury to Johnson, and then the injury to
Bernard,
Bernard, and I'm just like, "Geez, these are
yeah,
pretty much our star players on our defense. Two of our, you know, captains, pretty much." And it's just
three with
it's tough.
Milano too.
Yeah, three with Milano. Like these
Yeah.
are three of our top. Honestly, they could be our three best defensive players. Honestly, so we might be playing without our best defensive players all at
If we
once.
play like we played against the Dolphins all season, I'm not going to complain. We'll be all right. We'll
No
be all right.
worries.
And
No
for once in
worries.
our life, I said this too. I'm so happy to see that we're not just solely dependent on the defense. It was like extra sprinkles on the ice cream that they stepped up
Yeah.
and made an impact. But like the fact that we scored many times with the ball, that's just good to see.
Yeah.
There's so many years where we gave the D would stop it and we get like possession and then just turn it back over, or like
Yeah.
kick it back to them all over again. So
And I just think even if we there's going to be even if we lose this year, I don't feel like it's going to be a blowout losses. It's going to be if anything it's going to be close losses just because like a stupid loss like KC Bengal game kind of thing. Like we're
hmm
going to a dumb penalty or something at the end of the game kind of lost cuz I just feel like this team is too good to get blown out. It's just they're too consistent. It's too hard to stop an offense that can score so fast too. And they're just so multi-dimensional that it makes it so that it much easier to score, much there's so many guys now, there many more options. They're not forcing the ball, and you can tell like Joshua just seems so more free when out there right now. So a lot of in the game plan you could tell too is just totally different.
Yeah, I mean,
Totally
do
different.
you notice a difference where like the majority of his passes were like 10,
I,
15 yard passes. No more
or
big
under.
bombs. Yeah, yeah.
That's why. How many times did he throw big bombs last year? Where we're like, what is he doing? It's second down and
He's like
10. Get some
forcing to make it
yards.
happen. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
get some yards. Instead, he's throwing a deep bomb to Gabe Davis or Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
Those are both players that were like more of like a deeper ball player. Now we've got a bunch of players that are more of short, and
This
it's
makes more
nice to
sense. You got
see.
like 5 options for 10 yards. That's great. That's
What
great.
did we say? We always say the best ball is the dunk and dink ball. It's the most annoying football, but it's also the teams that can perfect that dominate,
hmm
dominate. Because then all of a sudden you do dunk a dink, and then next second 60-yarder. Dink a dink, next second 60, like 70,
Hmm.
because that's what happens when you're getting beat up and getting ran all over, and then next second, guys running deep.
Yeah.
It's really good football.
Longest pass of the game looks like receiving says 33 yards. Ty Johnson. Funny enough,
Which was that crazy pass on 3rd down?
it was still a short. Wait, it
Down to
was
the 1-yard line. Remember it went
yeah,
down to the 1-yard line?
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. But I mean, but it was a shorter pass that turned into a long run. I mean, reception, right? Or was it
No,
a
it was
run?
remember he rolled out to the side and then he passed it like right down to the 1
Oh,
yard. He
okay,
just like
okay.
got tackled immediately kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm a little dusty on it, but everyone else is
Yeah.
like, there's not like Shakir hit a 21, so like
Yeah.
they're all short.
I
Yeah,
think what's his name? Keon Coleman had like a little loft ball, but I don't think it was much more than 20, 30 yards.
Keon Coleman had 0 receptions that game. That was
Or was it
actually
the game
yeah,
before?
the game before because
The
I'm
game
looking at
before, okay. That's what I'm thinking of.
it's interesting because he looked pretty good that first game and then he was almost non-factor this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Mac Hollins too
That's
had 0.
crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy too that Keon Coleman just gets 0 all of a sudden too. I mean, it's just like Marvin Harrison. Look, Marvin Harrison Jr. goes from one reception for 4 yards, 4 for 130, and 2 touchdowns. It's like week to week, very things can change very quickly.
who are people covering and everything else, you know? So
Yeah, what's
the
working? Sometimes things are just working.
since I'm staring at the stats here too, we how about the rush game? And we had some shakeups since last year, and James Cook we knew was going to do good still, but Ray Davis
Uh,
9 for 29.
did we not call it?
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of people were calling it on the Bills side, but like obviously, if you're not a Bills fan, you're probably like, "Who the heck is this?" But
yeah,
he runs the ball hard. He's low to the ground. He gets positive yards a lot. He's good at receiving and rushing. He's a great complementary back to Cook because they're very similar backs, but in the same sense they're a little different. But at the same time, it's okay to have the same backs
yeah,
because a lot of times it's like you don't want to run your main guy 40 times. You can run a guy 15 times and on the other guy 10 times, and they both get decent yards. They could both, have productivity. So, and if anything, you're just prolonging how long you're going to have both of them, you
yeah.
know.
I just
So,
I can't believe the receiving like the options that we have. Like just looking at this, and we have still not seen Marquez Valdez Scantling do anything huge
or
yet. But he's probably
Curtis Samuel
yeah. There's huge upside. Curtis Samuel, he had like one reception
for
for 3
4.
yards, 2 targets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
literally we don't even know what he is going to be like yet.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
yeah, obviously like he's gonna be good, but like we just don't know.
But we got like 4 or 5 unknowns. Really, the only person we really know is Shakir and Kincaid on this team. Really, and Kincaid,
Right.
like I think everyone thought Kincaid would be a huge factor, and I think he's only seeing less because Josh has so many options. You know, that's all.
Right. I agree.
Uh,
I agree. There's just I'm looking at their stats too right now. It's crazy how spread out it is right now.
yeah. Um,
Literally look at this. 8 receptions, 4 receptions, 4 receptions, 5 receptions, 1, 2, 1, 1, 3, 2.
yeah,
That's crazy. There's not a single obviously high and the highest targets too is Khalil Shakir.
yeah. With
Which
five.
I also think he's gonna end up being probably more towards the number one, I bet.
Yeah, he might be. And then how about
Yeah,
no
that's
one fumble from
crazy.
Josh Allen. That was that silly one, but no interceptions this game, right?
Yeah, yep.
That's good. Good to see because
No,
Pat Mahomes had what, 2?
yeah, no, did Josh have a fumble in this game? Oh, it slipped
Yeah.
off his hand. But
Yeah.
they recovered it, right?
I thought it turned over, but maybe not.
I think he recovered it.
I don't know
But I
why
don't
I'm
think
blending between two. I think because it was from Sunday to Thursday. It was so close.
because we're talking about both of the
And we
games.
yeah,
That's
and we
why.
didn't separate the games, so it's hard to
Right,
remember.
right. We
Yeah.
didn't separate them, so we were technically talking about both of the games in a
Oh
sense.
no, as I'm spinning through, how about Von Miller too? Kind of showing back up, man. Like
Dude,
back on it
I
again.
honestly, I think like he said last year, he just wasn't ready to play. He forced himself back because of obviously multiple reasons. But
Yeah,
I just obviously when players aren't fully healthy, they're not themselves, So
and he only had two
he got
two tackles in one QB hit, but like the pressure he
He's
put
already
on the
but he's
pressure.
already got, like, a sack this year, a bunch of
Yeah,
tackles, a bunch of like, already he played, like, 12 games last year, it's like, 5 tackles, no sacks, like, literally, he's already got that in a game and a half,
and
like, 2
he's
games.
already spinning off their line, like putting
Yeah.
pressure already. Like they, that's something to contend with. That's great because we didn't know if he'd ever come back to form, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was getting worried for sure, for sure.
yeah. Uh, Yeah, I mean, overall, I'm happy with the game. I think it was great. We love beating the rivals, and they're
Yep.
becoming a rival again. I know they were probably a rival back when it was like Jim Kelly, Dan Marino days, but we haven't really seen much of a Dolphins rival start up until like a year or two ago.
And
Really?
I've been honestly, I love it too because I absolutely hate the Dolphins. Like, I didn't hate them until the whole like recently, the last like 3 4 years because they honestly think they've been competitive with us when they haven't been. We've honestly dominated them in every aspect.
Yeah.
We're like 12-2 against them. Their only win was like that 21-19 week 3, I think, of like 3 years ago, I think it was. And that was Tua's only win against a winning record team, by the way. But we'll leave that away. Because he's going through some hard times, so we'll leave him
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah, yeah, he's got an excuse actually for that. But
Yeah,
yeah, I think the point though just being that they're like you said, and I just think the problem is like everyone kind of acts as though we're going to struggle, and I'm not really
yeah.
sure. Like every year, don't you feel like that's the whole narrative? Like,
It's
oh,
every year. There was one year, 2 3 years ago, where the year after we lost to the Chiefs, like 28-24, the 13-second bullshit. That next year, going to that off season, everybody was like, Bills are the Super Bowl favorites. And remember, we were the Las Vegas favorites. We came into the season the favorites,
mhm,
all that. We
yeah.
had kind of a rough start, but we finished strong. We obviously lost the playoffs again to or that we lost the Bengals that year. It
But
was
still,
last 2 years ago.
it was a season though. Still, yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and that's what it's just narratives.
yeah.
It's how it goes in sports, but unfortunately, they're always talking about how the Bills are going to lose, and then always end up dominating over the last 5 years. So
Next on my agenda is the Jets. I really want to get that done with because that irritates me too that people are talking the same way. It's like,
oh,
well,
I can't wait.
that's all we heard too before the season was like, oh, the
What is
Jets,
it? One, two,
Yeah.
three,
So we've already shut down the
week
Dolphins.
6.
My dog
Week
is being
6 at
difficult.
the Jets. Oh, Aaron.
Mm.
Yeah, my cat came bowling in too.
She can't decide if she
Um,
wants to be in or out. So, yeah, I mean, we heard from everybody about like, oh, the Jets. I mean, the Jets and the Dolphins. You guys aren't going to ever get this division. It's like, well, the Dolphins, no big deal. That was even before Tua getting hurt. It was still no big deal, to be
Now there's
honest.
the 0-2 Jets, the
Yeah.
1-1 Dolphins, 1-1 Pats, 2-0 Bills.
And
What's
who
the
else did the Jets just lose to? So they lost to the 49ers and then
who'd they just lose to?
yeah.
See, no, hold on.
I'm just trying to put it together with like potentially to size them up, I mean, like the 49ers is a tough team to say they lost against them. You kind of expect it.
Yeah,
Or at that time you did.
who'd they just play? I'm blanking.
I know.
Hold on, I'm getting to the schedule. Oh, scores! I should
It was a
have.
close game, wasn't it? Let's see.
Get back, Osh.
I don't know. I don't know. I can't think of it.
Tennessee. Oh, they just won.
Titans.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
They
They
beat
just
Tennessee.
yeah, barely.
That's right. They
Yeah.
should have been 0-2.
Yeah.
Tennessee's just as a team right now that's a very interesting like they're not good, but they're not bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're very in the middle right now where like they have a really good defense and I feel like they're going to battle a lot of teams like this, but they're going to lose a lot of games like
Yeah.
this as well. But then they're all of a sudden going to randomly upset like a Baltimore, and everybody's going to be like, how did Tennessee just beat Baltimore after they've lost to like the Jets and stuff like that?
Yeah, they got like a young
You know?
quarterback, a lot of new people. It's just trying to shake out the kinks, and I think like they're gonna,
Yep.
like you said, they're gonna have games where they're good and then games where they blow it. That was a good one for them. The Jets did look like they struggled pretty hard with them, so that either says something about the Titans or it says something about the Jets. I'm not sure
Yeah.
yet, really, at this point in the season. We play the Jets. I'm looking at it again just as a
It's week
reminder.
6, Monday
Yeah.
night
Uh,
at Jets. Once we dominate that, the season's over for all of them.
yeah.
Like they're done because we'll
So
be 6-0.
we got Jaguars coming up. Irritating, like we said, they always seem to win, and then we both call the Bills win this year. Um,
They look especially bad this year, though.
yeah, people are talking
Well,
them
I
up
will.
again. I'm not sure
Well, I
why.
will say Jaguars are a weird team. The last few years, they've been like the same team,
Hmm.
and like they've been had streaks, and they've been a very like they'll lose a lot of like bad games, and then suddenly they'll go on like a 6-game win streak, beating like the better teams in the league, and you're like, is this team good? And I honestly think they're just a streaky team. But they're not that good. They're a below average team that
Yeah,
happens to just get on streaks. And right now, unfortunately, they're on a losing streak. I think we come in and we absolutely dominate them again.
yeah, I think
I
so.
think Monday night again, we're gonna have extra rest, which is definitely good for us because we had way short. We went from what
Sunday
Sunday
to
right to
Thursday.
Thursday, so we
Yeah.
had way short, and then we have extra. So
Now we're having a big rest again after that too, because we're going Monday to the next Sunday, which is
yep,
also good.
and then it goes Sunday, or
Yeah,
no wait,
it's Sunday
what's
night.
that? What's that 9:30 game? Wait,
Oh
what
no,
did I? Oh, I clicked on Jacksonville. I was
oh
like, wait a
okay.
minute.
Sunday night game, and then a Sunday
I was on
game,
Bills and then I clicked on Jacksonville on accident. Yeah, because then we have Sunday night again too, and that's another longer wait.
and then we have what another Monday. Is that
Then
the
it goes
Giants?
back to Sunday, back to Monday, back to Sunday, and then a late 4 o'clock game, which is
Yeah.
against the Seahawks. Honestly, that slate we could easily be like 8-0 going into the home against the Dolphins.
So I don't care about the Jaguars. I really want to see the Bills Ravens because the Ravens are 0-2.
Bills week 4,
Yeah.
I'm very excited for it, and then obviously, actually those
The
net 3
Texans and
games.
Jets too. I want to see that. Those 3 games I'm really excited about, honestly.
Texans, Jets, Ravens, and I'm excited for the Titans game just because Shane.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
those 4 games are I like those are really probably the 4 best games of the season for me. And then like 'cause I'm not that excited for Chiefs just because the games have gotten so annoying with like the refs and like
Yeah.
the late game calls. It's like yeah they're fun to watch, but it's also just like you know how they're gonna go every time.
I just
And
hate to
it's
be
just
like that, but it's like I said. There's certain
I
games you like. Don't you feel like okay? Not to get off on a tangent, but I feel like
yeah
this Bears game that just happened. Also, I just feel like they were pulling so hard for the Bears against the
yep
Texans. I just feel like the commentators were all about the Bears and Caleb Williams and like talking up like just Bears, Bears, Bears. And then the refs were like making calls, and I'm just like, I swear the Bears were supposed to win, but the Texans were just the better team.
it's
You know what I mean?
because they want Caleb Williams to do well.
Yeah.
That's why.
It's almost like they
And
want the Bears and the Ravens or the Bears and the Jets
yep
with the Ravens. It's like let's like we said before, if you're really good, you can only deter the game so much before the real result is going to come out. If you're
yeah
really bad, then they can't do much to save you either. If you're like
right
better than average, then those calls really make a difference, with whether they're
yeah
on or off.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it happens every game, and I'm not trying to be that whiner about like Chiefs get everything, but it's
Yeah.
honestly like it's every game, every big game Chiefs are in, they somehow come out on the other
Or
side
any
of
close game. There's some kind of
close
call.
game.
Yeah, there's some major
It's
impactful
always
call.
and they
Yeah.
always win, and it's just
Yeah.
like and Sunday was just another example, but I'm not getting off on that tangent.
Yeah.
Fuck the Chiefs. We're gonna dominate them. We're taking them down to the playoffs. Let's
Yeah.
go Buffalo.
Let's go. Woo.
Uh, No, but next week I think Jaguars Monday night. I'm gonna call a 38-3 finish.
Oh, that bad, huh? I
Blowout.
think it's gonna look like that Dolphins game, but slightly worse for them. Yeah, as well. So it's gonna be a big one. They may get in like the double digits barely. It'll be like 10. I think
Yeah,
30 something to 10. They might get a slip a touchdown in, but
maybe
yeah,
they're bad. If anything, it's gonna be like 6 or 9 because they're not gonna get much more than field goals.
yeah.
They're a bad team. Bad team.
And then I guess
There's no.
we'll hold off to talk about the Ravens Bills. And I know we already projected this,
Uh,
but it's kind of fun to project it in the beginning of the season before it
and then
starts. And
see
then
how they're playing after, kind of thing.
like now I'm even more like, I see the Ravens as less of an obstacle as we did to begin with. you
Yes.
know,
0-2. The 0-2
Ravens
Ravens,
still led by Harbaugh.
led by MVP
Yeah, the MVP.
Lamar Jackson.
Hmm.
Friggin' A.
Yeah.
Friggin'. That's just funny to see though. It's a very like going off that too. It's just been such a interesting season to start.
Crazy.
Obviously, going into the season, we knew there was a lot of player changes. Like not just with the Bills, but with a lot of teams. There,
Hmm.
like Joe Mixon changed. Who else? The other big
The
running backs.
Texans changed. The Bengals
Uh,
changed.
yep.
The
Bengals
Jets
changed the
changed kind of a lot. Or
Yep.
they kind of had a reboot from last year, but uh,
Multiple guy. Aaron Jones
yeah.
switched
Oh,
teams.
the
Like
Ravens with Henry and Dog.
yeah, Henry. Yeah,
Yeah.
there were just so many different like guys switching teams this year. And there were
The
we really didn't
Steelers.
know. Yeah, Steelers have a bunch of different guys. Like we didn't know how this season was going to be. And 2 weeks in, it's like okay, maybe these teams are going to be different. Like the Rams look to be very injured, and honestly, they could end up slipping into the abyss because they did that the year before last. They had a really good they won the Super Bowl, then they had a really bad year because of injuries. Then last year they had like a 9-8 year or whatever it was, made the playoffs, I think, or like barely missed. And then this year they're hurt again. Two guys right away on IR, their two best receivers. Like I could see them just being bad this
Yeah.
year.
I
So,
feel better about the Bills because we're not like we don't look to be like a feast or famine team. Like it looks like we put up the same performance we did against the Cardinals, maybe a little better, and we had
yeah.
against the Dolphins had better results. Like,
Yeah.
but it wasn't like week one we couldn't do anything, and two we blew them out. It's like I almost feel like it's the same type of team. Things just came
Yeah.
together, and I also
I mean, look
stated
at the
that.
Cowboys. Look at the
Yeah.
Cowboys. Look at who did the Cardinals just destroy?
But the
Uh,
preseason podcast, when I said that, I'm like, I think the first few weeks will be rough because the Bills are still trying to function as a team with a lot of new
and we're
people.
just
Yeah,
clicking,
yeah, it's clicking.
clicking.
It didn't take too long.
Yeah,
And then you
and
see other teams like the 49ers, they're struggling. The Ravens are
49ers,
struggling.
the Lions,
The
the
Ravens,
Ravens,
they're all like
the
the teams you thought.
all these
Yeah,
all the top 5 teams really, like, outside of the Bills, like, and the Chiefs. Like, Bills and the Chiefs are only 2 that are 2-0 still.
yeah.
Outside of them, like, the majority of the teams have lost or are not haven't really shown up, really.
And even the
The
Cardinals, they're looking better. We beat them barely,
Yeah,
the first game. Yeah,
Cardinals dominated. They
yeah,
looked really good
yeah,
against. Yeah, obviously it was against the Rams, and Rams got hurt, but like they're
yeah,
looking good too. They're looking
yeah.
really good.
So it's an
And
interesting year, though. That's all I want to make a point. Like I
New
agree with you.
Orleans against Dallas, like
Yeah,
who
that was
thought they
wild.
were going to put up 44 at Dallas to at Dallas?
Dallas
Like
fans are shaking their boots, and I'm like, I just told someone today, I was like, I don't anticipate Dallas just falling apart right now. Like, I think we
they're
knew
going to
that,
still probably win 11, 10,
yeah,
11 games.
they're gonna bounce back, but I mean, like, people look at it like it's over because the no one thought the Saints were gonna come in and just roll them like that, but they
Just
did.
like going to Ravens, they'll probably still pull it together and win that division or to come game close.
A
Yeah,
positive, yeah, record.
yeah.
So yeah,
It's just NFL is a very funny sport. It's much different than like let's say baseball because baseball is such a long season. There's so many twists and turns where football, like it can, if you don't get it together within the first couple of weeks, it can get bad quickly,
or injuries.
very
Like
quickly.
the Rams are done.
Yeah,
Probably
the
they're
Rams
probably
are
done.
done.
Yeah,
Because by the time those come back, like it's week 6, 7,
you've already
and
got 6 losses probably by then.
yeah,
Yeah,
easily. They're
yeah,
already 0-2. Like their outlook is very gleam, very gleam.
yeah.
So I don't know. I definitely feel very confident this year so far with the after 2 weeks.
I
We
love too
obviously
the fact like the depth again. Now we have depth on
yep,
offense, like we had depth on defense, and we still kind of have depth on defense, and that keeps you from being taken down with injuries. You know what I mean? Because
yep,
obviously Josh is the key that we have to keep healthy, but
yep,
like everyone else, like I don't want any of those people to get hurt. But when you're using them lightly, a bunch of people,
yeah,
there's less chance of them getting overworked, overhurt,
yep.
pushing too
Like
hard. Yeah,
offense and defense, we have
yeah.
multiple guys at multiple positions that can pick up and play well. And it's just the all around team. It's finally like that. We've been saying team since like before we even did the pod this year, and it's how this team feels. It's a true team,
Hmm.
and they finally are showing it. They're coming together. They look really good. So it's exciting to
It reminds me of
see it all come together.
It reminds me of a championship team. Like when you think of a lot of great
Yep.
ones, some of them got by with a few big people, but like almost always they're just like a really good team all together, like all aspects.
Yeah.
They had multiple, depth in it. They didn't just have a good quarterback. I mean, some of those teams
No.
did, but you know what I mean. Like the classic teams, like the old Buffalo Bills, like the championship, great, the ones
Yeah.
that went 4 years in a row. This reminds me more of that. They had a lot of threats. Like the old
Yeah.
49ers had a lot of threats. Like all those classic teams like that, I feel like we look more like that type of team where it's not just like a
Yeah.
couple guys, you know?
For sure. No,
Yeah.
we definitely. It's definitely. You can tell it's definitely much more of a all around group than just obviously like the last few years. It's been very much relying on Diggs and Josh Allen, or our defense. I feel like has always been pretty. Last few years have been pretty primed up, but with lots of
It's
guys
always
that
been
have helped.
receiver based, and it's like, well, what are you going to do when Brown's gone, or what are you going to do when so and so's gone? You know, it's
Right.
like it's always
Right.
been like replacing the receiver, like that's our main goal. And it was like
Yeah.
now we got running backs, we don't even have to worry about having a star deep receiver anymore.
Yeah.
You know, 6, 7
Two
passes, you're down in scoring territory. There you go.
two Monday nights next week. Why are they taking all the flame away from the Bills? Come on.
Yeah, you try to put us on the early one. Oh, heck, I can go to
It's
sleep early.
Cincinnati and Washington. Gross.
I can go to
Yeah,
sleep.
that's what I said. I get to go to bed earlier. Thank you.
Like this with a dub.
Yep. Thank you.
Go to bed smiling.
Um, who do you what's gonna be the upset next week, you think?
Let me look at
Ooh,
it.
boy. Baltimore, Dallas? What if Baltimore
Ooh.
goes to 0-3?
That could be. Dallas has got. They both have something to prove after this past week. So.
At Dallas, too. They're both got something to prove.
Let me see the upset. Let me see the week 3 here. Let me take a look at this.
Honestly, I don't know what's gonna happen with Miami. Skylar Thompson is bad.
Very bad. That's
Very
that's gonna
bad.
be one of those situations where the talent is gonna rot there.
What if
It's
Tom
like
Brady comes back?
on Miami.
Yep.
He's got to get out of the commentating booth. Didn't he sign a contract?
Yeah, I think like hundreds of million.
He
Like a
have to
couple
break
hundred
that
mil.
$500 million 10-year contract he did earlier.
Yeah.
Uh, that's ridiculous. He like makes more than he did as a quarterback.
When do we get rid of Carolina as a football team?
Yeah, can we just wad him up and get rid of him?
They need to go.
The Commanders too. It's a disgrace.
Yeah, they're bad.
So I'm gonna say it's weird matchups. How about everyone's kind of lopsided matchup? You know, maybe the Titans take down the Packers, but they don't have Jordan Love, so I don't know if that'll be that shocking.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
Yeah,
say. It's not that lopsided.
yeah, but a lot of
There's
that.
actually kind of a lot of even though, like Green Bay, Tennessee, Chicago, Indy is even. Minnesota, Houston, like honestly, Minnesota is showing up so far. Who knows with Philly and New
I
Orleans?
would like. I was just gonna say that we'll see how Philly plays tonight because if they beat the
Right
Falcons,
now, what's
I
the
say they come
score?
and stand up on the Saints after their big win. That I think they might the Eagles could shut them down. You know that could be an upset because now people are riding high on the Saints. You know
How about Andy Dalton getting the start for Panthers now?
I like it.
That is
All
so
Red
funny.
Rocket.
Red Rocket right away.
He hasn't been that.
Hey.
He's the worst part about that guy is like I've always been. I don't know why. I just always want him to do well, even when he's on the Bengals. He just seems like the type of guy you just like kind of want to root for. But he's always the guy
Yeah.
that's never like amazing either, and he's been on a bunch of teams and he's had multiple chances. And I think like the Bengals were his prime with like AJ Brown, AJ Green, you know, like that. Or not
Oh
AJ Brown,
gosh,
not AJ
yeah.
Brown. AJ Green and AJ. What was the other one? Wasn't there two
AJ
AJs?
Green. You were right.
No, AJ Green, but wasn't there two receivers?
DJ Hujrinsada.
Um, I thought they
Who
had
are you
two.
thinking about?
I'm trying to think
Bengals?
the same time as AJ Green, like it was like another wide receiver, but
There's AJ Green.
um, I don't even know what year.
Uh,
I can let it
I can't
pass.
remember now.
What would that be? Like the
Just go to
2014 Bengals rosters, like
probably
14?
2012 to 14 area. Yeah. If you go to just Bengals and then you go to their name on ESPN, it's the easiest way to find them.
Okay.
And then you can
Oh,
go
I hit
to
it. 2014 had AJ Green.
yeah,
Oh, Sanu.
stats.
Who else?
No, he wasn't
He
that
wasn't that
good.
good. Maybe it was before
You
this.
can go to
Like
their stats and
2012.
then go back to like 2014. It will show all their stats.
We're just gonna chew time up on this because it's like a throwback memory I gotta look at.
Yeah. Let's see.
I could
Damn,
have
they had Marvin
swore.
Jones Jr. way back then.
Yeah, I could have swore they had a couple good receivers. They had AJ Green and someone else who was competent. You know what I mean? And then that was like the Dalton years, but he just didn't.
Freaking Marvin Jones Jr. was on Cincinnati for 3 years.
Really.
I did not know that.
I didn't either.
Not that year. That was a shitty year for that 2013.
Andrew Whitworth was
And
on.
and
Was he?
how did Andy Dalton throw for 4,300 yards with that shit ass team?
Maybe he wasn't bad then. He just couldn't make it happen though. But either way though, like I don't know. I'd like to see him turn around like and do like a Flacco where he has like his last chance and he's at Carolina and that team just like starts doing better. But I don't know.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty funny.
I mean, it's always fun to see these old guys come back and do well.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2013 was his best season, it looks like. Let me go back to 2011. No, yeah, 2013 was by far his best season. I think you were just thinking of TJ Houshmandzadeh way back.
I don't think so. I don't even remember what year this would be though, you know, because like I'm digging in 2010 right now.
Remember TJ Houshmandzadeh? Or there was Chad Johnson, TJ Houshmandzadeh.
Oh yeah, Chad Johnson.
They made the postseason a lot with what's his name?
Dalton.
Dalton.
Yeah, this could never make it happen, right?
Could never make it happen.
All right. Anyway, I might be dreaming.
Yeah. Yeah, way back when they had Palmer with Carson Palmer, they had Johnson and Houshmandzadeh, and they had a bunch of guys then.
Yeah. So yeah, back to this week then. I think there's a lot of even matches. I think some people are gonna do a lot better. We obviously know. Oh, the Lions Cardinals will be probably the game. That'll be a game.
Yeah, let's see. Game of the week.
That looks like the game of the week for me.
Ooh,
Or Ravens Cowboys.
Arizona, Detroit.
Arizona. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Lions Cardinals. Yeah.
Oh, you said Lions Cardinals.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That might be game of the week.
That's what I say.
That's
That's solid. That's gonna be a solid game. Yeah. That's a 3
or
o'clock.
or Dallas, Baltimore, just because there's a lot on the line there.
They're both reeling off losses. Yeah.
Yeah.
High
Not a lot on the line, but there's some on the line there.
Yeah.
I think the 3 games to watch are Philly, New Orleans, just because those are wishy-washy teams, and it really depends on how Philly comes out of tonight.
Yeah.
I think Tennessee might upset Green Bay, Detroit and Arizona, and obviously Baltimore, Dallas, but who knows with that game? That could be a bum-ass game.
And I'm going to keep my little eye on the Pats Jets because that might be interesting because the Patriots have been doing way better. They've been doing way better than what everyone thought. And then can you imagine if they take them down and they almost won this
Oh, it's Thursday night too, yes. Yes. Get to watch them lose on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Who did they just almost beat? And I was like, I wrote to you guys. I'm like,
Seattle.
Yeah. They're about to take them down in the last minute.
They should have beat them, and they just blew it. I think that's just a sign of like a young bad team.
But the fact that the Jets have been struggling, it would be funny if that's a really close game. That'd be great.
It'd be pretty funny. I would laugh pretty hard. Ooh, Patriots played Jets and Niners. Ooh.
Justin Jefferson out too now, right? For a while. Did he have a bad injury? What do you?
They haven't announced it officially, I don't think. Dude, that's another thing that we didn't even mention.
Injuries.
The amount of injuries. Jeez. Not just for the Bills. Like, obviously, we have a decent amount, too, of our
I was
stars,
thinking about
every team.
Yeah, we mentioned this in the last...
players.
I think just based on fantasy, we've all been talking about this for like 3 days, but I just was thinking today in my head, I'm like, why? There's got to be something that changed because, like, in the history of football, there isn't tons and tons of injuries. Like, it was rare. I feel like it's more common than ever now. Is it the shoes? Is it the training? Is it the diet? Is it?
Yeah.
Is it just more?
Some of them are freak accidents, but some of them are just non-contact injuries.
Are people playing harder than they ever did? You know, like I don't know. It's weird. It's really weird.
Yeah.
I don't remember this. The past 3 years, the injuries are ridiculous. Like ridiculous.
Honestly, it's every NFL season recently has been a battle of who's the healthiest.
Yeah.
Like if you're healthy, you win games. It doesn't matter if you're a bad team. If you stay healthy, you end up winning games.
Like I'm thinking back in the day, like think of someone like Emmitt Smith, like high reps, and this guy was barely ever injured. You know what I mean?
That is true. It's like baseball back in the day. These pitchers used to throw like 200-300 innings.
Yeah.
And it's like for 20 years.
And now they're
And now
like, oh, get him out. Like two innings.
they throw freaking nothing, and then they have 3 Tommy John surgeries, and it's
Or if your closer has to throw 2 innings, they're like, you can't do it tomorrow night. Nope.
that has a,
Won't be.
I think it's also the focus on the games too.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, maybe it's just I don't know, like
I
maybe
grew
they're
up
not
watching
taking
football.
care of themselves as good. I don't know.
I
Like
don't
you would
remember
think with
stars
today's
having.
technology and everything, you'd be taking care of yourself better than ever.
Yeah, I know with the health and technology and with healthcare, I don't. Training, like, it's just ridiculous to me. Something's different because everybody's hurt. Maybe it's impact, maybe it's speed, maybe
And a
it's
lot of them are like serious injuries,
yeah,
like broken bones and torn
Achilles. Yeah,
ligaments, and yeah, like crazy injuries that like are not easy to come. Multiple guys tearing their Achilles over the last 2
yeah.
years. Multiple guys. That is like a serious injury.
And I remember like there being a lot of ACL, MCL strains. That was common, but not like tears, surgery, like where you're done for the year. I
Yeah.
don't remember a lot of that either, really. But
Yeah.
it might be something
It's
to look
very
up and
weird.
see. But I do keep thinking about
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I feel like the injuries have been at an all-time high, but maybe people are also just not acting injured, but maybe just, it's easier to get
I think I
like
heard that before from someone too, that they said like just what's changed is the amount of money invested in people now. So
yeah.
it's almost like being hyper cautious or but an
That's what I was
injury is
gonna
an
say, like
injury. I mean, if you're getting surgery,
yeah.
then you're not
The
pretending.
serious ones you can't obviously fake,
Yeah.
but
But yeah, like I think that sometimes too when they're like, "Oh, they got a hamstring." Okay. Like how bad? Is it a tear or is it just a nagging hamstring and they used to just play through and now
right.
it's like let's save them because we need them for another 10
Right.
weeks, you know what I mean? Or
Like the whole CMC thing, they're like,
yeah.
"Oh, quad Achilles or something like that." I don't even know, something like that, or calf
Like let me
Achilles,
go to my
calf
fantasy
Achilles.
roster. Everyone on my team has an injury.
Seriously.
And you're like, is it like legitimate or is it like let's so early in the season let's sit them now and take it easy so we save
Literally
for later.
today alone, there was 3 guys that got long-term multiple week injuries.
Yeah.
Star players, Deebo Samuels, Cooper Kupp, and who else did I send
And you
today?
don't even notice it in the games it happening. You know what I mean? Like it just I didn't notice half of
Literally.
those like Pacheco. I didn't see
Oh,
him get
Pacheco
yeah.
was the 3rd guy, yeah.
I didn't even see him in the game I didn't even notice it. Like he probably went to the
Oh,
tent
I
and you're like,
noticed it.
oh
He got up and he ran off the field, but to break your
yeah.
that is bad.
Yeah,
He's
like
lucky his leg wasn't like this.
yeah, I know. And then like Mixon had the injury, went to the tent, went to the locker room, and I was like, great. But I guess he's came
Yep.
back in toward the end, and
Yep.
then St. Brown is questionable. Higgins is
Tua,
out still. Higgins
Tua,
is still out.
yeah,
Still.
Higgins still out, but Tua, who knows how long he's gonna be out? That could be months.
Yeah. And like Higgins, they said had a hamstring injury going into week 1, so they sat him. Then week 2, he didn't start either. I'm like, obviously it's more than a hamstring injury. It's probably a tear or something they're not telling
Yeah.
you about. It's got to be something.
Right.
I don't know. I guess there's a lot of There's a lot of lying. They're probably over exaggerating. Do you remember they do that too with Tyreek Hill? I had
Yeah.
him, and they'd be like, "Oh, he's got like an Achilles issue or whatever," and then like the next game he's like just kills him, and I'm like, okay, so it's more strategy. Like let's overplay his
Let's
injury.
overplay his achiness.
Yeah, so he seems like he won't be a factor, and then we're gonna send
Right.
him. So I don't know.
Right.
Some of it might be strategy too. So I don't know.
I agree. I
It's
agree for
weird.
sure. It's
Uh,
definitely interesting, but some of these is serious injuries. It's a lot. It seems like a lot
yeah.
for sure.
Speaking of football here, we got Monday Night Football underway. It looks like it's 0-0 in the first quarter.
Through the
Still.
first.
Yeah.
Gosh, Jalen Hurts looking worse than ever. Oh boy.
I just need like 6 points from him. That's all.
Did he get him yet?
I don't know. Let me look.
Jeez.
Probably not.
6 points all you need, huh?
Something like that. Let me look. He's got 1.86. Okay, I need like another point and a half.
Is that in our league?
That's in Tyler Buddies.
Oh yeah, you guys were playing each other in that one.
Maybe we'll bring Tyler Buddy on one of these episodes for an appearance.
Get him in some talk about his
Just
shit ass team.
Honey Bijan and people. He can tell us
Yeah,
about Cousins.
His Honey Bijan.
He could
Honey Bijan.
he could tell us about the good old days with Mike Vick and all that.
Yeah,
Reminisce.
back on those good old
Those
days.
good old days.
He's dreaming about it.
Yeah,
He doesn't know what those good old days are.
just memories.
Hey, I remember those good old days. They're happening right
Right
now.
now. So these are the good old days I'm going to remember. So did you have anything else you want to discuss? I think I pretty much whipped it. This was gonna
Yeah, I
originally
think we're good.
I was originally gonna do little short check-in ones, and do less of the big ones, but since we skipped two
We did
weeks,
have two to talk kind of
yeah.
so
And so I
that
think we did pretty good. We talked about the first game, we talked about the second game. The first game we didn't talk a whole lot about, but that was weird. So I was actually happier to see how they came together in week 2. It
honestly,
was.
it was weird, and I think that once we came out of it, it was like, okay, we're good to go. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't worried after we came out. That was a pretty convincing comeback. Like that second half, people look at it and see the score as, oh, you guys won by 6. That second half, we allowed one score, and it was a field goal. The
Yeah,
other score was a kickoff return.
yeah.
Other than those 10 points, our defense absolutely fucking shut them down.
Mm-hmm.
Kyler Murray looked very bad in the second half.
I wonder if it was just like I said, like people coming together try to figure it out, and like new defensive
Yeah,
coordinator, all that stuff, or maybe it was just underestimating Kyler Murray. We typically do well against Lamar when we play him, so
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how that works out. Because like I almost feel like when our team appropriately goes into a matchup knowing that we're gonna rushing quarterback, we do better. But then people
yeah.
like Pat Mahomes have like an unusual rushing game against us, and then we do
Right,
bad. You know what I mean? Like it's always the people who kind of are unexpected that get us.
right,
So
right,
maybe with Kyler Murray, they're like, we're not really sure what to expect of them, and he was kind of back to his old self. So
right.
yeah, we might have just let the first half get away from us more than we
Yeah,
should
and
have.
then obviously once we came out and dominated this game right from the start, our defense looked great. I was like, okay, it carried over from that second half into this game.
Yeah,
On short rest, we dominated, and that's why I was like, okay, that first game was like first half, first game jitters of the season. Get it out of the way. Now we're dominating.
yeah.
So. But no, yeah, I think that's good. Once again, follow us on our social medias. We're going to be obviously posting a lot more, trying to get some stuff out there. So, like, subscribe, comment, follow, share to your friends, your pals, your brothers,
He's a
sisters,
Bills fan.
buddies, Bills
You
fans.
see a
If they're
Bills
not
fan
Bills
somewhere, be like,
fans,
hey, check it
make
out.
them Bills fans.
Yeah.
Uh,
If
let's go
you
Buffalo.
if you want to be a Bills fan, there's still time without being
Yeah, it's
ridiculed
not
too
too
much.
late
You know what I
to
mean?
be a part of the best fan base in the world.
You're
So.
not going to be OG, but we'll still accept you if you
We'll
want.
accept you. We'll accept you. You can bandwagon on. It's okay.
Week 17's too late, though.
I like winning too. It's okay.
That's
No. Uh, definitely. We appreciate anybody that's already been supporting us and all that kind of stuff. But we'll be back next week. Let's go
Go
Buffalo!
Buffalo!